Aloha and mahalo as we look at OKO Knife Counter number 4. A little bit different than Knife Counter number 3, but some of the same beginnings. Once again, my left foot is slightly forward, pre-position number 2. The attack is going to be, once again, a knife hand coming on their knife line 1 or their line 3, our line 4. Knife is at the bottom, it's coming in a diagonal angle. Once again, this is our green zone coming from 12 o'clock. I'm going to step in once again with my left foot to close the distance as I chop and re-grab. I'm going to strike the elbow, hook, much like counter number 3. Knee, land. As I land, I'm going to bring his elbow down and in towards me. Rotate my hand to control his elbow. In this particular case, I'm going to use an in-place stance change. My right foot is going to meet my left. Left foot is going to step back towards 6 o'clock behind me. And I'm going to heel up, heel down as I rotate to use this 4-corner throw to push him down to the ground. I'm going to push his wrist into the ground, grab the knife, counter, cross, and cover out. Once again, a little bit quicker maybe. Step, knife, grab, hook, borrow balance, borrow force, knee. Pull it up, in place stance change, down. Slam the wrist, grab the knife, and cross and cover out. With that, stay tuned for OKO Knife Counter number 4, Concepts and Principles. Aloha mahalo as we look at OKO Knife Counter number 4, Concepts and Principles. Once again, we're going to be using DDCD with every single knife, club, gun attack, weapons attacks. Deviate, deflect, control, and disarm. So how do we do that in the flow of this technique? Once again, a step in, chop. Here's the deviate and deflecting the line of the attack with chop and grab. The grab begins the control. Strike, knee. I'm continuing in the flow of this technique to control the weapon as I chicken wing. The disarm is going to come as I rotate and take him to the floor and I smash his hand on the ground. That is going to disarm him, and then I'm going to pick up the weapon and as I exit. I don't want him to have the ability to pick up that weapon again and come at me. A lot of the times in our martial arts training, especially if you look on the internet, a lot of the times there's a disarm. They have the opponent drop the weapon, but they don't control what then happens to the weapon. We need to be cognizant of the location of the weapon at all times. Because what ends up happening sometimes, you probably have heard the story of police officers that train in knife disarms. Well, in the training, they split a weapon between them. So as they're training, they disarm the guy, they strip the weapon, and then in order to continue the training, they hand the weapon back to him to continue the lesson. Well, the story goes is that an officer had to use those skills on the field, strip the weapon from the opponent, and because of the way they trained, handed back the weapon to the subject. So we have to be careful that we train the way that we fight. We have to be cognizant of how we deal with the weapon post the technique. Anyways, DDCD. Hopefully by now this has been ingrained in your heads within these techniques. So with the elbow strike comes manipulation of height and a little bit of width. In a moment, we're going to include depth, which gives us time. Strike the elbow. I'm going to borrow balance and borrow force. Once again, once I've hooked behind either his his tricep or hooked behind his elbow, I can now borrow his balance and create that borrowed force, that car accident that we've been talking about. Once again, we have rowing the canoe. I'm going to be pushing with my right hand and pulling with my left to manipulate my opponent. As we pull him in after the knee strike, I've gotten my balance back. My hand is going to shift, and now it's going to create the chicken wing. We do not like chicken wings. In other words, what I mean like this. When we're using our, whether it's strikes, manipulations, blocks, there is a tendency to get our elbows outside of us. If my extended outward block is out over here, any type of force is going to let it drop because I've disconnected my shoulder. But if my extended outward block is here, it's tight within my person. If there's a wall here, I'm not going beyond the wall. I'm much stronger here. I've had some of my 100-pound students be able to hold my 230 pounds weight on an extended outward block that is tight and in. I would say that all Kempo-based arts, like Kaju, American Kempo, Christian Kempo, Shaolin Kempo, are elbow-centric arts. We want to keep our elbows in, if at all possible. But we like to create chicken wings in our opponents, and that's what we're going to do here. Comes in with the knife, we strike, we create the chicken wing. So in order to take him down to the ground, we're going to need to use what's called an in-place stance change and hit them with the planet. An in-place stance change, if this is my left foot and this is my right foot, I'm going to bring my right foot up to my left and then to step back with my left. We see this in Filipino martial arts all the time. We talked about this with using the triangle, right? I'm stepping from one corner of the triangle to the tip of the triangle and back to the opposite corner of the triangle. The same thing here. I'm going to go from the right corner of the triangle to the middle. Left foot is going to go to the opposite corner of the triangle to allow me then to rotate and to take him down to the ground. I'm literally going to hit him with the planet. Planet's a lot tougher than I am. I'm going to smack that bugger on the ground. Once again, once I've hit him with the planet, I'm going to make sure I smash his wrist to the ground, causing him to let go of the weapon, but I want to make sure that I recover the weapon. So what lessons, concepts, and principles are in OKO Knife Counter number 4? Deviate, deflection, control, disarm, DDCD. Modifying our opponent's height, width, and depth, giving us time. Push, pull, rowing the canoe. Borrowed balance and borrowed force. The reiteration of the chicken wing. The new in-place stance change. And hitting them with the planet. This has been a look at the concepts and principles and lessons with an OKO Knife Counter number 4. Stay tuned. Aloha and mahalo.